everyone. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Nicole, and I'm an intern here at Oxfam Canada, and I've been here for quite a while now. I work with Kelly in Youth and Campus Outreach, and I'm really excited to talk to you about Oxfam internships today. Most of you are probably starting to think about the summer holidays or think about what you're going to do when you're done school or something like that. So I just want to help you make that decision a bit easier by convincing you to apply for an Oxfam internship. So I'm going to answer your questions about why you would want an internship, why Oxfam Canada needs interns, and what kind of positions there are available by hearing from other interns. So why don't we get started? So first of all, there are many reasons why you should apply for an Oxfam internship. So I'm going to organize them into immediate goals and future goals. So your immediate goals are what you can gain from Oxfam right now in your present, and even while you're in school or while you're in a career or something like that. So the first one would be insight and knowledge. So we might have questions about Oxfam Canada, like, how does it operate, who makes all the decisions, and, who are the board members and stuff like that. So these questions can be answered just by having an Oxfam internship and by sitting in the office and being surrounded by different people and working on different projects. Through the internship, you can really learn exactly how an NGO works and how a development agency works just by working in the office and working from the heart of it. So I just find that you can learn a lot from people who go and work in the field, in development, and they give you firsthand stories about what it's like to work with the international partners, as well as seeing all the different positions within the NGO. So that's really cool and really good knowledge to have, just to know about Oxfam and know about working in this sector. I also found that it gave me a very good but different sense of activism. When I was in campus or in university doing campus club work, I found that activism seemed like it was just like protesting or asking for signatures, and I didn't really see where it was going. But when you work behind the scenes, you realize that sitting at a desk can be a sense of activism, and you still feel that same sort of satisfaction from it. So you kind of learn that in order to end or reach a goal like ending global poverty, it takes a lot more than just demanding change. It takes research, planning, organization, learning and communicating in many different ways, and that takes a lot of different people. So you kind of learn that activism can be more than just asking for signatures. So it's really fascinating to see what goes on behind it. So another immediate goal I found was satisfaction. So when I finished university, I didn't really know what to do, and I didn't really have any, I wasn't really doing anything in the human rights sector. I wasn't volunteering or anything. So I felt that this internship really satisfied that need that I had and really helped me feel like I was contributing to such a good goal as ending global poverty. So I really do believe in everything Oxfam Canada does, so it was really great to be immersed in it and really felt that satisfying to be part of it, as well as it really inspired a passion for social justice. And this isn't something that I'm going to forget about. It's not something that I'm going to be able to not be part of my life. So it created a really good sense of satisfaction in that way. It also inspired a confidence in my abilities outside of that. So, Kelly was very trusting in my abilities and my judgment, and, she just expected me to do good work. She didn't expect me to do bad work, which I found as a student, people treated me that way beforehand. So it really made me feel confident, and even when other staff members would ask me to do work for them, or they'd see my work and show a sense of appreciation for it, it really made me feel like, oh, I'm a real person with real skills. I'm not just a student, and people aren't just writing me off, So it was really great and really made me feel like I could do a lot. And obviously it was lots of fun. So I got to meet some really cool people while being here. I also got to go to Vancouver, which was fun. And I really got to help out with some fun activities. So International Women's Day events, or we did a land grab stunt, like things like that were just really cool. And you know, I still got that part of like activism side of it, as well as, you know, just fun. So for your future as well, it really can contribute a lot, and the reason why you want to do an internship. So it can really contribute to your future goals, either in human rights or development, or, you know, IT work, administration, or anything you really want to do. It doesn't have to be specific to the human rights or development area. So the first reason I'd say that an internship would be a good idea would be for you to get your dream job or whatever you want to do. So talking to friends, I've realized, and like other people in university and other interns, that it's pretty evident that getting a job right out of university can be a bit difficult. And expecting to have a job like right out of university isn't always a good idea, because it can be really disappointing if you don't get a real career job when you're right out of university, or, you know, if you're struggling to find that job. So although you all probably have really great campus club experience and an undergrad degree perhaps, it's good to have an internship, because it puts your resume on top of the pile and puts you above the rest in that sense. While preparing for this, I went on Charity Village and looked at some job opportunities, and they required at least 2 years of volunteer experience as well as a bachelor's degree. So, and then if you want to go overseas, they ask for even more. So, I mean, it's good to have this internship to, you know, get you closer to your dream job and have it waiting for you, as opposed to you waiting around to get a job that you really want. So, with that being said, you also get a lot of experience. So it's not just photocopying, it's not just, you know, taking minutes or something. It's actually real experience that will greatly add to your resume and your capacity for better jobs in the future. So you will actually acquire new and useful skills, I can almost guarantee it. So, so you'll obviously hear more examples when you hear from or when I tell you about the other interns, of all the different skills and experience you can get. So I'm sure I probably wasn't the only person who graduated without an idea of what I wanted to do when I was in university. I have a degree in human rights, which is great, and I like having that degree, but it didn't really teach me any tangible skills on how to work in this sector. So through this internship, I really learned that, you know, what kind of skills I need to work in this sector, that just thinking from a human rights perspective isn't really going to cut it. I have to, you know, actually find out what I want to do. So through this internship, I really kind of discovered what skills I'm good at, what skills can actually work if I wanted to work for another NGO or another development agency, or maybe I need to go back to school. So it can really help in that self-discovery aspect, so that you don't come out of university just knowing how to talk and think about human rights or development. You can actually have tangible skills on how to do it and know what you want to do or what you don't want to do. So this is a big one, the networks. So this is a really great way to network. So first of all, you can learn about the career path. So talking to other people, you really can learn you know, what skills they have, what they've done in order to get to this position, or, you know, where they've done it, or what kind of degrees they have. So it's really good to know, because if you want that person's job, you need to know how they got it. So it's great to sit down and talk to people that have these amazing jobs that you think aren't attainable, and then telling you exactly how to get it. So it's really good in that way. It's also good because you'll learn more about the job titles and the job positions in this kind of area. So, for example, if you are applying for, let's say, Kelly's job, who's a Youth and Campus Outreach Officer, you'd want to know what a Youth and Campus Outreach Officer does. So me working with her side by side for this long, I know what her job entails, and I know how to do it, and I know what skills, well, I don't know 100% if I know how to do it, but it's still being hired for that kind of position or being hired for a position that's similar, then I'd be able to really project that knowledge within an interview or on a resume. So it's really great to know exactly what you need in order to apply for those kinds of jobs. And lastly, and something that's very invaluable, is that you'll get a great reference. So obviously we all know it's not what you know, it's who you know. So if you work hard at your internship, you will get a good reference, which is great to have in any kind of sector or job area. Okay, so now we know why you want an internship. We should know why Oxfam needs interns. So Oxfam needs staff support. So being a not-for-profit organization, they're very busy, all the staff members are very busy and have a lot on their plates. So with interns, that load is really lessened, and the staff can work towards accomplishing goals more quicker and thoroughly. So they can hand off things to interns that they can explain to someone, so that they can do the things that need their specific skills and the reason they were hired. So it's really great in that way that more things can get done more efficiently. As well is that they really want to teach you. So this isn't really 100% about Oxfam. It's also about the goal of ending global poverty. So they want you to become better activists and better at development work, so that when you go and work in that same sector, when you go and work for another organization, that you are a well-trained, well-experienced individual with skills that you've learned from Oxfam. So they don't want you to be good at photocopying. They want you to be a good activist. So anyway, so it's kind of like a bigger goal that seems really almost complex, but at the same time, it's like we're all in this together. So they want their interns to be really good at what they do in the future. So lastly, it's what they can learn from you. So obviously, new, fresh ideas from people with different experiences and different perspectives are always really helpful. So even if it's, questions about the current policies and practices, or just adding new ideas, it really contributes positively to the organization. Okay, so what kinds of things can you do as an intern? So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to just tell you about some of the current and past interns, so you can see what other things people have done from a really practical perspective. So I'm going to start with myself. That's me. I'm a youth engagement assistant, and I work with Kelly, or I've worked with Kelly for the last 10 months. I worked 3 days a week during the summer and 2 days a week now, usually about from like 10 to 10:30 to 3 or 4. So the experience I had before this internship was that I graduated from Carleton University with a degree in human rights. I was an intern at a feminist research group, as well as the executive in various different campus clubs, as well as I had some administrative assistant experience from a small business in my hometown. So as a youth engagement assistant, I helped Kelly with the coordination of the National Change Summit that took place in Vancouver, that hopefully you all should know about. So that included like finding venues and accommodations, organizing the list of registrants, creating resources and reports, as well as I coordinated a team of students on the content committee that were focused on the logistical stuff for the conference. So then after change was done, I worked on analyzing reports about the conference and creating videos, as well as promotional video for regional change, and the Land Grabs campaign music video. that you should all go and watch. So I am now leaving the internship next week to go traveling for 6 months or so, to go backpacking. So it's kind of like a self-discovery trip as well as a self-care trip to take a break. I might teach English, but in the end, I really want to pursue a career in women's rights using the skills I gained from this organization. So I don't know exactly what path I'm going to take, but in the future we'll see where it goes. One tip I'd have for any future interns would be that, you know, this is part of the process, that I wish someone had told me in university that I needed an internship in order to get, or an internship or volunteer experience outside of campus club organizing in order to get a career. And that's not always true, but I feel like if I had not come out of university expecting a job right away, I would have been a bit happier. I wouldn't have been as disappointed. So also I've learned that, you know, it's also a good thing not having a career right away, because now I can go traveling and I can, you know, and learn from Oxfam in a different way. So, you know, just keep in mind everything happens for a reason. So the next intern is Catherine. She's a policy and outreach intern for Lauren Rayvon, and she works at our National Ottawa office for the last 2 months. So she's a policy, or she works with Lauren, who's the policy advisor, so she works on research projects. I don't know if you saw online the 10-day online discussion that happened last week. So she researched essays for that, as well as came up with biographies about the authors and things like that, helped Lauren with that project. And now she's creating country profiles for the Oxfam International website. So her previous experience was she just came from London, England, where she completed her master's in global politics, and she had a focus on gender development and globalization. And she did her thesis on gender mainstreaming. So Catherine essentially wants to use this internship to get it, because she wants a job in the policy sector, but she also wants to work for an organization that focuses on gender and development. So she has her degree that will help her get that policy job, but she's using the internship to get good practical experience to get a job in gender and development. So her tip is to get jobs and get volunteer experience that really focuses on the skills for the job you want in the future. So don't just get an internship or a volunteer position because it'll look good on your resume. Get it because it'll look good on your resume with the skills that you want to acquire for a job you want in the future. So I guess, like, don't waste your time with a volunteer job that is not going to help you get a job you really want. So next we have Rodrigo. He was working out of the Vancouver office with Miriam, the outreach officer there. He was a youth engagement assistant for 3 months this summer. Before his internship, he had graduated from the University of British Columbia with a degree in political science. And he was a member of the Oxfam campus clubs there for about 4 years in various different executive positions. And he was also an interpreter for the Hispanic refugee claimants in Vancouver. So what he did while he was an intern was he did mostly high school outreach. So he would go to events or conferences and farmers markets and kind of engage high school students and get them to maybe understand a bit more about Oxfam and join campus clubs, or also attend the National Change Summit that happened in Vancouver this summer. He then was on the curriculum team for the summit, so with that he created, organized, and facilitated workshops at the National Change Summit. So he found that this internship helped him discover his passion for facilitation as well as working with youth. So that was something he hadn't done before, and this internship really opened his eyes to how much he liked it. Right now he's just looking for opportunities to do that, either abroad or in Canada, working in development or facilitating workshops for youth. His tip is to not wait until you graduate. So he's got or he realized he could have done this while he was in school and kind of wish he had, so that now he wouldn't be out of school waiting for a job, kind of. So he, I don't know if everyone would be able to do that, but he wishes he had. All right, next we have Diana, who was a youth research assistant at the Ottawa National Office for 5 days a week during the summer. So she worked with Kelly on preliminary research for the land grabs campaign. So she worked on looking at different angles university students could take with the land grabs campaign. And she wrote a report about it, as well as created one-pager information sheet specific to each university. Her experience before this internship was that she has a degree in law and sociology, and she worked as a volunteer receptionist at our office in Ottawa, and she still does for reducing. She was also a member of the Carleton chapter in Ottawa. She also had a bit of writing and research experience from working at a marketing firm in Ottawa. So right now she's working towards her master's degree in international development and globalization from the University of Ottawa, and she wants to eventually become a child educator, teaching students about human rights, so either overseas or in Canada. She gained a lot of writing and research skills from her internship and very practical experience to add to her resume. A tip from her would be to make the most of it and take in as much as you can. She had a very short internship, so she feels like it flew by and that there was so much more she could have done. All right, the next person we have is Anna, who works with a humanitarian programs assistant named Melissa at the Ottawa office as well. So what she does is she provides support to the Women's Rights and Humanitarian Action office in Nicaragua, mainly in translating documents. So she's also been in charge of updating content regarding all emergency responses to both the website and to the fundraising team for the last 3 months. So she's currently writing reports on the major humanitarian programs Oxfam has implemented in Pakistan, Haiti, and East Africa. So before this, she had a degree in international development and had worked in development in El Salvador for like a little over 6 years. So previous to that, she also completed her practicum with a literacy campaign in Ghana. She decided to become an intern or apply for the internship because she had seen what Oxfam had done in person overseas, and she loves its commitment to non-paternalistic cooperation with people's struggles to live better lives. And that's a quote. So as most of her experience has been in the field, her internship really helped her see the Canadian experience, because most of her experience was overseas. So she can understand the current issues now, and it's really been interesting for her to learn about the progress the humanitarian and development work has gained, mainly in incorporating women's rights and specific needs in programming and responses. So now, after she's finishing her internship soon, and so she's going to be in strategic planning mode, so deciding whether to continue her studies or hunt for a greater career opportunity. Her tip would be to feel proud of your contribution to the work of this organization and to take advantage of any resources that come available to you, because there's tons of books in this office. So, and to learn as much as you can from the internship. So next we have a possible person. So this is the IT intern who would be working for at least 3 months at the Ottawa office. They would support the operation of Oxfam Canada's information system and enterprise resource planning systems. So that's help desk support, help and guidance to local users, local and remote users, troubleshooting, as well as setting up desktop computers and software and all those things. So it's good for students who are just finishing their studies or still in their studies, and they just need to be fluent in English with written and verbal communication skills. So that's a position that's open right now. Lastly, we have Sarah, who's an intern now as well, and she's a National Public Engagement Assistant at the Oxfam National Office. So she's been an intern here for 3 months and will most likely leave in January to go to law school. She works with Sarah Lyons, the National Public Engagement Officer, and she mainly organizes community groups, revises national training resources like PowerPoint presentations, and she's created and analyzed surveys and signatures for Grow Week. Before this, her experience was she had a conflict studies and human rights degree from the University of Ottawa, and she was also in the Oxfam campus group there too. She is also the secretary for the Regional Steering Committee and works as a receptionist at the Community Healthcare Center in Ottawa. She found that her internship really helped her with her law school applications, and she really appreciates the insight she gathered working at an NGO. A tip from her would be to take advantage of the people around you. Take time to observe what people are doing, sit in on meetings, ask them questions, and see what people know and get to know how they do it. So that goes back to the networking that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so you're probably wondering, like, if you're not from Ottawa, you're not from Ontario, where can you do these internships? So we have offices all across the country. So you can see we have a Vancouver office, Saskatoon office, Toronto office, Ottawa office, and the St. John's office. So you could work at any of those offices, as well as if the internship permits, you can work from home. So there have been some interns that have worked from Montreal or different places across Canada. So that's always it. So don't get discouraged if you're not near these offices. So how can you apply for an internship? So you can apply at the Oxfam Canada website, and I'll show you how to do that. So you can go to the oxfam.ca and go to what can you do? And then you see on the side here, you can go to volunteer with Oxfam. And then under here again, go to Internships. And then it'll show you all the opportunities. So right now there's the Information Technologies Assistant that I was talking about, the IT intern. And then there's also a couple internship FAQs, which I'll go over in this webinar, but at least they're there in case you want to reference them again. Okay? So you might be asking, when's the best time? So clearly there's only one internship opportunity right now, but you can always apply, or the best time to apply is January, June, and September. So those are good times to check, but always keep checking back to make sure that there isn't one that you want to apply for. So, are there any questions? Okay, well, I'm going to answer some questions that we've had before. So, one of the main questions I've heard from people is, if the internship isn't paid, how can I make money? So, most of the internships aren't full-time. So throughout my whole internship at Oxfam Canada, I was also working at a full-time job during the evenings. So, and sometimes I worked at another NGO as well. So although it was kind of challenging sometimes, Kelly was very flexible if I needed time off, or if I needed to move my set days around, or if I needed to leave early to go to work. And some of the times I could work from home too. If there was things I needed to finish up, I'd just stay at home and do them there. So also some of the internships are paid, not a lot of them, but that also helps. So another question that I've had is there a possibility of extending my internship past the set time? So it really depends on the project and how well the internship works out. Obviously, I stayed way past my set time of 4 months because I've been here a total of 10 months. So, I mean, that possibility is always there, depending on everyone's schedules and depending on what the project is that you're working on. So, Another question is the possibility of getting hired after an internship. Although it's not uncommon for it to happen, I wouldn't count on it, I guess. They can't guarantee the jobs to interns or all other volunteers, so you'll never go in expecting to get a job afterwards. But I mean, it's worth checking out the employment page, which is on the same link here too. So what you can do, employment. So how to work for Oxfam. It'll show you the job positions, the internship in positions, and working with other Oxfams. So so that's something to keep in mind too, and that's how you can get to it from here. Okay, and then one more question I've noticed is, what if the position you want isn't listed? So if it's not listed, just keep checking back. You can always send a general application, which can be kept on file for 6 months, but applying for a specific internship is your best bet. So just keep checking back. January, in January is the next time you should check back, and you know, if you see something there you like, then just apply. Are there any more questions? Okay, so if you missed the first 15 minutes of the webinar, we'll be posting it online shortly. So I can show you where to do it. You can go to the oxfam.ca and then campus groups up here. And then group resources and campus learning series. So these are the ones that Kelly has been doing the last couple months. So this one's about Unwrapped, so the Unwrapped campaign. This one's about land grabs. And then this one's about a training resource called Taking Change Forward. So then once this one is complete, we'll put it up here within the next couple weeks or so. And you can see the first 15 minutes or watch the whole thing again if you want to. So keep in mind that that is up here. Okay, are there any other questions? Nope.